Why, hello. It's been about 3.5 years since the release of Battlefield 1, and I had a bunch of scrap just laying about, so I decided to buy a bunch of Superior Battle Packs. 35 in total, and heck, with stuff with scrap later, we might get more, so I thought I'd share the unboxing of all of these Superior Battle Packs, after the fact for so many years, because actually a lot of people are playing Battlefield 1 instead of Battlefield 5 because, yeah, they couldn't use realistic uniforms in Battlefield 5. Now, could they? But that's beside the point. But what I really want to talk about, the most recent thing about President Trump supposedly telling people to inject themselves with disinfectant, with alcohol, propyl alcohol, whatever it's called. But is that he never really said that. And all the other things he said during that news conference. Here is the actual. I'm looking at the quote right now. Is that here's a quote. I asked Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of. If you are totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So suppose we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just some very powerful light, and think you said that it hasn't been checked, but you're also going to test it. And then I said, suppose you brought a light inside the body, which you can do through the skin or something. And I think you and said you are going to test that too. It sounds interesting. The first part of that is that that's Trump, President Trump, just rambling right there. Is that even though President Trump has a lot of experience in reality TV, when it comes to this, he's not the best spoken person. Like, neither am I talking to you right now, but yeah. But it is kind of true. There are some, before antibiotics, there was treatments against bacteria and viruses about putting heat in ultraviolet. It does kill the coronavirus on surfaces. That's what they say. If you if you have a mask and you put it in your oven at 150, I think it's like for 10-15 minutes, it'll kill a vast majority of the coronavirus. And same with the UV. UV radiation helps kill it. And there are some stuff out there, probably he didn't know at the time, that does basically put these tiny catheters underneath the skin. It does. So there are some old treatments out there that might actually work for this, but President Trump was inconsistent with his talking here. What really goes is the next quote, is what actually people are talking about. And then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks out in 1 minute. 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injecting it inside, almost like a cleaning? Because if it gets inside the lungs, it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. People said President Trump told people to inject themselves with bleach and or disinfectant. That is just blatantly false. He never says you inject it. Later in the quote, it says so that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. So even if he did suggest injecting yourself with bleach or disinfectant, alcohol, that he's saying a doctor should do it, even if he literally meant it, but he didn't say that. If you look back on the quote, he says, is there something we can do like that? As in, President Trump, he's not good at any medical thing. So he just thinks disinfectant can kill the virus in 30 seconds. Can we get that in the body somehow? He's thinking something like that. He then says, we will put disinfectant bleach injecting into you. Is there something like that? He's spitballing, being his usual Trump self. But then the left just goes far in the left field, saying he's saying to literally inject yourself with disinfectant. And that's just blatantly false. There's a lot of things you can say President Trump has done bad. Back before he was president, for example, you remember him using, well, I don't remember, but the article is that he used eminent domain, government force, to get an old woman off her house she had for a very long time so he can build a parking lot. Also, while president, the property tax write-off that actually hurt more middle-class people than it did the rich. picking a Supreme Court justice that has a sketchy Fourth Amendment record, and other circuit court picks that have sketchy records. President Trump also condoned more rough police enforcement. His high tariffs was actually hurts the economy. There are many, many things, besides the few I just listed, that you can critique President Trump about. But this is not one of those things. The left is going full TDS with this when he just said something like that. He's an idiot when it comes to medical stuff. So he just thinks I'll call something like that. And he said in his statement something like that. And President, you can critique President Trump supporters too, but they're not idiots who can't read. If you look at, I personally, because my family somewhat prepared, is that we have Clorox, Great Value, Kirkland, Purell, Up and Up. We have all those products inside our house. And all of them, in some form or other on their packages, have things like for, say on their package, external use only. On surfaces only. Do not use this product beyond what the package says you to use it. So nowhere on their package does it say, hey, you can inject this, or hey, you can swallow this. It's a lot of times, if you get in your eyes, flush this shit out. If it gets in your body, if it gets in your mouth, flush it out. So are people going to say, oh, it says I can get my eyes in my mouth, but nothing says I can inject it into me, plus the president said I should. No, the president said you never should. He said something like that, and he also said have the doctors do it. So it's the left with their deranged TDS that is what just irks me the best. It just, I do not know how to explain it, is that please tell me how to critique President Trump. Well, I have with the things I've mentioned earlier, that you can critique President Trump. This is just not one of those things. I sound like a broken record, but this is just getting ridiculous. Just like how in the past when President Trump said that Hillary acid washed her servers to get rid of a lot of the evidence, and then the left was like, oh no, Hillary Clinton did not use a corrosive substance to wipe her servers. He's not tech savvy. What he means, he's used some program, she used something to erase the data. He's an old man. What do you think? She had a program that used a virus in BleachBit, and which is a program that erases all the data from the actual hardware. It's like, no, President Trump is not tech savvy, so he uses his old man terms, his terms he knows about to try to apply to the subject matter, and that's what President Trump was doing here. And it just bothers me to no end why people are doing this. Please critique President Trump on actual issues, not this drivel. It just shows that you are the bigger idiot than he is. If you use this kind of high school wah tactics like he does, like for example, like early in the crisis, like, oh, my poll numbers are up. Well, clap, clap, good for you, Donald Trump. Whatever. But I respect the office, and I've been around a lot of old people because I am really into history and especially World War II, talking to veterans. And a good number of them do use vague ways, especially my grandfather, who is starting to lose his hearing a lot. He is getting older, he has heart issues, and there are kind of things you have to interpret with older people, and this is what President Trump is. He's not savvy when it comes to medical stuff, so yeah, he did not mean to literally inject yourself with Purell. And if you believe he did, you're a bigger idiot than he is. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video.